I figured I'd put together the Subsistence and Destabilizing Rounds catalyst into one video. Then Onslaught, it's going to get its own video while also wrapping up all three and the full craft. And when I talk about these two catalysts today, it's more so about building around them. Destabilizing is very impressive, more impressive than I imagined. It's making a case as the top option, it really is. It has a lot of exotic and subclass synergy, and this is taken into account, especially now we know what changes are happening. Choir of One is going from 250 mag base and 375 with reserves to 200 base and 300 with reserves. It's still going to be good. The weapon is very powerful. There's a reason they want to keep it in check. So they're not touching the damage, they're just touching how much you can get. And in theory, lowering the reserves kind of hurts the upcoming Onslaught a little bit, but I think it's going to be fine, especially to ADS mode. So for today, there's a ton of guides on how to unlock the catalyst for Choir of One. Go check out Rick's, go check out Cross if he has one. And all of this, it's very doable solo. Aside from my initial run, I've done everything solo. I did solo expert, I soloed the catalyst runs, both of them, you can do it. With 2 of the catalysts obtained, you also unlock the barrel and magazine. And so far, I am a believer in handling and reload for it. So I currently have on Fluted and Alloy Mag, and I think Alloy Mag's a big deal. You get that reload scaler when you dump the magazine. So that's really good for the hipfire mode. And I plan to tie all this together when the full craft is available, but first, we have Subsistence. It does make the case to be the best one. However, I kind of advise not to use it currently. I mean, sure, it's great. It's always going to be great. It's a good perk for it. Defeating targets partially reloads this magazine from reserves. But as I talked about in the mod review, we have Targeting Autoloader. Auto rifles are extremely good with this bottom row of mods. It stacks at ×5. At that max stack, it grants auto rifles just a free 20% damage bonus, and each stack's gonna load in ammo from reserves. So that max stack, it's pretty much every kill, it's throwing in some ammo from reserves, and the amount it gives is about a little under half of the starting magazine. So basically, back-to-back kills gets you the full ammo of your starting mag. It's like built-in Subsistence already. You also have Sustained Fire as well. On larger targets, you can get Resist 3. So even if you love Subsistence, which is really good on it, I recommend that you have your cake and eat it too. Right now, at this point, throw on Destabilizing Rounds 100%, because you have built-in more damage 20%, built-in Subsistence with the artifact, throwing rounds in, and with Destabilizing Rounds, Final Blows cause nearby targets to become volatile. And as I talked about in the first impression Choir video, I'm not the biggest fan of straight up Destabilizing Rounds. I'm not, because there's a delay between detonations, like a 3-second delay. You usually want Repulsor with it. It's just a messy perk overall. However, the built-in capabilities of Choir of One make it extremely viable. Rapid Final Blows cause targets to explode into Radiolarian fluid. That ticks the volatile rounds. The hipfire mode detonates on impact, so it procs the volatile. In an ADS mode, that has that explosion too. But the combination Destabilizing Rounds and just the weapon itself, there's a lot of self-proccing and collateral ticks going on, and it just feels very fluid. And when you start getting into each class, there are some things I want you to try. I'm going to go over Hunter, Titan, Warlock, and starting with Hunter. With Choir of One this season, I've had some base mods that I like to build off of, and it's crazy good. But with Hunter, we have Stylus Executioner. This is on Prismatic. As you land the Destabilizing Rounds, it spreads the volatile. When you defeat those targets, you're going to go invisible. And since it's a Void weapon, I've been focusing on Void with this thing. A lot of Choir of One's power comes out with Void. So again, try some of this, and there's some forgotten exotics in here. On Prismatic, one of my favorite fragments is Bravery. And as a matter of fact, I use it like 90% of the time if I'm using a Void weapon, because if I'm doing that, I will pair it with a Strand weapon. Grenade Final Blows give volatile to your Void weapons. Powered melee finals grant Unravel to your Strand, so it works together really, really well. And then Dominance. The Void grenades weaken. We have the Magnetic Grenade, we have the Smoke Bomb. Both of them weaken 15% debuff, and that goes with Expanding Abyss. Void sources deal increased damage to weakened targets. This makes your 15% weaken go to a 25% debuff. And if you use a big one like a Tether, it goes to 35%. And so far, Destabilizing Rounds has a ton of ad clear just built in. It saves you ammo. It really does. You get it into a group, it will explode them all. On Hunter, you have survivability with going invis. But what I've been pairing is Foe Tracer. You can use the regular Foe Tracer. You can find a Prismatic Cloak like this one. It's Foe Tracer with Verity. When you hit them with a grenade or smoke with an ability, you get 4 times Void Weapon Surge. And here's the crazy stacking that goes on. A ×4 Surge is 25% more damage. You also have them weakened on a 25% debuff. All of the gameplay in the Lost Sector is a Master Lost Sector. I'm like 15 or 16 below. It absolutely smokes things when you weaken them and then have the 4 times surge. It's crazy. But then as another add-on, remember, we have that autoloader perk. That's giving 20% more damage at ×5. So you're using this to add clear, you're getting Destabilizing to spread, hopefully Unravel too, you're going in and out of invisibility with Stylus Executioner, and remember, with Stylus Executioner, you can go melee something to weaken, so that's also a 25% debuff. You get that autoloader to ×5, so right now, Choir of One's dealing 20% more damage. You weaken them, they're 25% debuffed, then with a ×4 surge, you have 25% damage on top of that. It makes an extremely powerful burst DPS weapon, even more powerful. It is so good. And then there's Radiant, there's Wells, whatever you can add in and throw on. Maybe somebody's running Illumina. But I can't wait to use this with Onslaught, even with the reserve mods going down. But as you're playing right now with destabilizing rounds, there's so much play with add clear, just more damage period in the area of effect. There's a ton to love. Very, very good all around. And another thing you could do is add in a Falling Guillotine, avoid sword. It's sword weak, so it does have a ton of ammo, so you can acquire one hip fire and go into a sword. And depending on what targets you need to go to, and in this Lost Sector, a lot of them are far away, I'm using a Void Linear. But there's Hammerhead, there's Void Rockets, a ton of things you can use. Next with Titan, and we're about to go crazy here. I don't think you're ready. The Doomfang Pauldrons. Remember, they got a buff a while back, and with this weapon, it shines. We're going to be doing the same thing as Hunter. Defeating targets with void damage grants an escalating bonus to damage with void weapons. Defeating targets with a void melee grants super energy. We're not worried about the Sentinel Shield part. So it's the same deal. On Prismatic, running the same fragments for the Weakened Grenade, making them do volatile. We're running Expanding Abyss. Only this time, get kills in ADS mode. It's like 2 to 3 kills to get a stack. It maxes out at a ×4 Void Surge. Same deal, 25% more damage, and it stays there. Once it's at a max stack, once you get a kill, it just resets the timer. It's like a 10-second timer, 10 or 11. And if you get a Shield Toss Final Blow, you get the Overshield, you get a ton of super energy because that's a part of Doomfang. But when you get the ability Final Blow with your Sentinel Shield, it immediately goes to a ×4 surge. So you can go into a group, throw the shield, it bounces around. It's spreading volatile. If there's a bigger target, you already have ×4. You can just lay in with the hipfire mode. And you do the same things. You throw down your Void Grenade and weaken them. The ×4 surge of 25% more damage. They're 25% debuff. Hopefully if autoloader ×5, so it's doing 20% more on top of all of that. It's incredible. So good. Again, pair it with a sword, whatever you want. And also, I have to mention it, just straight up Void. Controlled Demo. As you spread volatile, when those go off, you get health chunks. You can go even further with Precious Scars. So you're getting healing from the volatile procs, you're getting healing from scars, getting Devour from orbs, like all of it works. You're a tank with it and you're dealing a ton of damage. And you can still weaken for 25% for the hipfire mode. Or maybe you have a prismatic class item that has Precious Scars, do it, why not? But with Pure Void, you're getting health, spreading damage with volatile, and there's a ton more. But Precious Scars on Void and Doomfangs really stood out. And with Warlock, I mean, just flat out Devour, you can use whatever you want. The Void sub by itself or Prismatic. Throw out a Bleak Watcher if you want, get Devourer going, get the grenade right back very, very soon. I was using Nezarax. Void damage kills increase ability energy recharge rate. You still have Expanding Abyss, that's the combo that you still want to do. Throw the Weakened Void Grenade out, they're 25% debuff, you have Devour up so the grenades fly, and you can keep throwing it. And with Abyssal Extractor, as you're getting kills with Choir of One, you get 300% base grenade and melee regen rate. Wild. 200% for super and class ability, so everything just flies. But of course, any exotic you want. I love Metaedaxia, and it fits right into the whole Void Weapon getting volatile rounds on Grenade, Strand Weapon getting Unravel with melee finals. Metaedaxia is really good for that. But really on Warlock, the Devourer Grenade itself is just flat out great with this, because you can constantly apply a weaken. Like, there's no exotic needed, just slide in what you want. And the Prismatic Warlock Devourer is like one of the best in the game, because like once you get it up, it's like never going away. So that's good. And Titan has Controlled Demo health with destabilizing rounds. Hunter has Stylix Executioner from it. You have all the ad clear. It helps a lot of exotics and subclasses. Again, extremely impressed with it. And even more so now that we know that those reserves are going down. It has all the built-in explosions, so it ad clears even more. It helps you save ammo. We're going to see when Onslaught comes out, but this is one of the better ones. And even when the artifact's all gone and autoloader's gone, like between subsistence and destabilizing, I think I really, really like destabilizing, but time's gonna tell. If you're new here, remember to hit the subscribe button. And if you are subscribed, thank you so much for your support. Let's talk about the catalysts down below. Which ones are you liking? Have you tried destabilizing rounds? I can't bring myself to use subsistence with that artifact perk. I can't. It feels like a wasted deal. But that pushed me to destabilizing rounds, and I'm really, really enjoying it. I'd love to hear your thoughts though. Let's talk about it. Thank you for watching, and until the next one, I am Cool Guy.